I'm being clear-headed.
There is a middle ground here. That was an act of aggression.
A friendly face. I need that power source. I need to go home.
Is there an acceptable answer other than yes?
No.
Then yes.
Yes, that's right. Star Trek Discovery Season 4, Episode 9, Rubicon is over, but we're just getting started here on Live Long and Podcast as we are here streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch on February 17th, 2022. And we got a great panel to break this down. I'm Dave Mader, and we have Michael Chan, star of last week's episode and Discovery cast member.
Hey.
And we also have sorry.
Oh, how are you doing?
Good. How are you? How are you, Michael?
Been a big week for you.
Excited. Yeah, no, huge week for me, especially getting on Memory Alpha. That was huge.
Yes, I go to Memory Alpha every day, pretty much, or every other day for this podcast, and you're there now. So congratulations. We one day, perhaps even Adam Woodward will be on Memory Alpha, but and perhaps I, but not yet. But how are you tonight, Adam? And how are you
I'm great. I'm great. This tonight's episode was what I was hoping for last week, except for Michael. That was a big surprise and awesome. But the pace tonight was great. Loved it.
Pace tonight, yeah, it was a very packed episode. Rubicon. This episode is not named in the episode. They don't say Rubicon, so I think we have to kind of speculate as to the title. I guess crossing the Rubicon, a point of no return, perhaps. Is perhaps the title, but yeah, guys, a lot going on in this episode. Let's go to Michael first. Now, Michael, I know now we know you know a lot about the show, Lieutenant Michael Chan, until the yet named Lieutenant. So
yeah,
okay.
no,
you're taking this episode.
I love the pacing. I loved I loved the CG work they did was really good as well. This episode. I felt that this episode made kind of bolstered the arguments, because we were talking about last week, why weren't they more aggressive in going after him after Book and all that, right? This week kind of solidified their stances and where they stood, and that he's actually able to be convinced regardless of how the episode ended.
Yeah, okay. Good take that they needed to throw the book at Book and Tarka, for that matter. And ultimately he slipped away last week, and now he's going still at this thing. They're both going at it, and Michael Burnham is again going to have to try to take him down and stop this from occurring to stop their weapon of mass destruction. Adam, what did you think of tonight's episode?
I think I was awfully hard on Book last week because I think if you remember, I was saying he's made his decision. He's severed ties with Michael and wants to destroy this thing, and that's that. But clearly tonight he does have some compassion still for certainly the crew and Michael, and was willing to listen at the end. And right from the start, as soon as there was the crew was in peril on that shuttle when it docked with his ship. As soon as he understood there was a problem and they may die, he was right in there trying to save them. So,
yeah, there's a lot going on in this episode. Ultimately, I think my biggest, sort of thing I'm unsettled with or not satisfied with fully is that Michael Burnham on this mission, she's like, you're too close to this. You need somebody to sort of be a babysitter. We get Commander Nan comes back tonight, and nice to see her back. She hasn't been here since early season 3.
Hey, Dave, just before you say anything more, everybody's a commander.
Well, everyone's at least a lieutenant commander, except for the one guy. There's one lieutenant left. But yeah, most and I guess Ensign Tall is not here either, so everyone's a commander, at least a lieutenant commander, who they just call commander anyway. So commander, yeah. But yeah, just on that, I think that the biggest thing I was like, well, okay, the wild card here was Tarka, right? Ultimately,
Always was, though.
Michael Burnham was able to take down, Book, able to talk him down, get him to stand down from this mission. And, so her personal connection was actually a strength in the end here, right? That they were able to solve this mission while still having, like, I guess, Commander Nan, or Non, is it Non? Nan? Non, to be sort of a chaperone, to be sort of make sure I'm here to make sure you do your job, Michael Burnham, and don't let this get away from you. But ultimately, that's not what happens. It's Tarka as the wild card, and as was pointed out to us by the president, Tarka is Admiral Vance's guy, and so I was almost like, why didn't Admiral Vance go on this mission instead of Commander Non?
He doesn't leave the space station.
I think he should have made an exception. I think he could have left Michael in command, and got it away.
Maybe he's too close then.
Well, I think that's my point, is that, like, I think that the fact that Michael had this connection with Book was part of the reason she was able to sort of solve this, right? Because I think just some objective no-name captain or Saru, for that matter, or someone who wasn't as close to Book, may not have succeeded in this mission.
But
right?
would Vance have been able to blow up Tarka?
Yes.
I don't know. Like, I guess that's
the question. That's what they had none, right? Because they needed someone who had no problem blowing all of them up. So this person had no connection to either of them. Right.
The problem with Tarka is that we don't know a ton about him, really. He's pretty new.
Michael, wait a second. I don't know if that's true. I think Non didn't act when she could have. In a couple instances.
No, I'm saying that's why she was chosen. I'm not saying, regardless of what happened in the episode, we're talking about the beginning, why the decision was made for Vance not to go and instead choose somebody else. The reason why is because you needed someone who would be willing to blow them up, and therefore had because they had no connection.
Now, almost when they were saying we got somebody to go with you, I thought they were bringing back Cronenberg, but that's
that would have been an interesting one.
That would have been, yeah. What were you guys happy to have Commander Non back? Adam, she's now in Starfleet Security, which has this whole new uniform.
I love the uniform.
You like this one?
Oh yeah, looks great.
So they're saying like Starfleet Security is almost like its own division, separate from, I guess, like the operations division, which I'm okay with. This is kind of
they did that with Picard too, right?
If you look at my buddy Emmanuel John's outfit from last episode, it's the same one.
I thought he was the science officer. Wasn't he?
No, he's security.
Oh, he's security. Okay, so this
it's
is
the black uniform, yeah.
The black uniform, the black division, perhaps, because the medical is now the white division, I guess.
Yes.
And is this like intelligence / security?
But didn't they have a division like this in Picard?
I'm still not done first season.
Okay.
Well, you're thinking of like Commodore O's division?
Yes.
Well, she was wearing the operations colors, so I don't think so.
I thought she was intelligence. That's what I thought she was.
She was, but she was like, or security or something like that.
Yeah.
We should look that up. But yeah, it's an interesting look. And like if you go back to even to like the Wrath of Khan movies, Starfleet Security had a different look in those movies as well. So, her like sort of departure in season 3, I was kind of left unsatisfied with greatly. So it was nice to have her come back here and sort of be.
Right, that was the question. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that it was nice to see her. I had honestly forgotten about her. And that's why I'd never, when they were talking about, when Vance was saying who's going to bring back, and I was like, okay, who's he bringing back? And here she is.
Yeah.
Just on a note of her uniform, you'll notice on her right arm sleeve near the wrist, there is a silver thingamabobby. That's where the weapon appears from.
Do you have another picture of her?
Yeah, I see if I get a wider shot here. Just give me a second there. Yeah, this uniform is very like form-fitting. I will say it's.
It is. It's a bodysuit with a vest.
With a vest.
And like I said, it has the silver weapons dispenser or whatever you want to call that
Okay, I have a picture here quickly. Yeah, sorry about that. It took me like forever to find something.
Yeah,
so
so you'll see. Yeah, there it is. There's the silver. That's like the phaser or weapon. Her top piece is actually a vest, like a very short vest, mind you, over a bodysuit.
right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then this is very very. It's almost blue. It's almost navy.
It's
but
supposed to be very dark gray, almost black. I've seen it in person, so I can tell you what it is.
Okay.
I always think it's funny, and I find it unsettling a little bit how they security or sort of the black ops or whoever, they're always in a dark uniform, and not that it's supposed to be cheery, but it's just harkens to a negative connotation in my mind. That's all.
Yeah. With the whole Section 31 connection, perhaps.
But also historically in our own lifetime, or not lifetime. But hey, Michael, I got a question. Was Sonequa Martin Green pregnant?
At this point? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's exciting. She had the baby since then? This has been a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, good for that. But Commander Non's here, and I did like Admiral Vance here. He's like, this is kind of awkward.
I understand this is awkward, Captain.
But she's like, the Barzans, they are duty above all. They will not
above all. Love that. That was great.
Duty above all.
Duty above all.
Duty. I didn't know that about Barzans. They're kind of creating the mythology as they're going, which is fine. They've only been like one other episode before Commander Non. She's definitely the most prominent Barzan of them all. And we also have like the whole upgrade in her breathers, so her eyes are more like I guess look more human, or like what they would be in her atmosphere, I suppose, right? Because she used to have kind of that glossy look in her eyes, if you remember, in her previous, I guess, season 2 and into season 3, while she was here for a bit.
I just want to correct myself. She might have already had her baby, but because she had her baby in 2020, but I don't know what month. So
2020.
We could have already started filming, because I don't know the order in which they film all the episodes. I just know where I came in for episode 8, but it's not
really relevant. It's just interesting, because you see her costume, her uniform, pardon me, is definitely made for like it looks like a maternity uniform.
Yeah, it takes time for you to recover from that.
Yes, it does. I got 2 kids, I know.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, just to get back to the episode. So the episode starts off with like a hollow message from Book coming into Michael. Basically, like the cliffhanger that we were left with in the previous episode was, this DMA, it's mining for a specific element that perhaps it needs, and that's why it goes there. It's not random. There's actually there, we understand its purpose now. And Book was like, well, I understand what you're trying to tell me is that this is just collateral damage, and therefore we don't need to really. It's not malevolent necessarily, but he's like, I don't care. I'm still going to take it out. I'm still like on my quest, and I'm not backing down just because of this new information, this new data. And so, and Book's like, Michael Burnham's like, I really thought that would do it. I really thought we would turn around, but no. So she's kind of left at a loss there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like we can find another way. We can do something, but it's not all for naught. She's still gonna try to take him down. Then we have a conversation over here with Saru and President Tarina via holo communicator, where they sort of have like a little bit of a sit down meditation. This ongoing romance. Adam. What did you make of this? Are you digging their relationship?
Before we answer that question, I love the room.
Mm-hmm.
I love
his quarters. Yeah, it's quite a jungle.
It is, and it feels peaceful. It feels calm. The pillows on the ground. I need one of those in my house. Just it felt good. It made me want to take a moment. But the relationship, I think I've missed that until the end of the episode today. I thought she was coaching him.
No, it's going further. They're going to dinner, Adam.
Well,
I've been cheering these two on from a while back. There were so many obvious moments that they're hitting on each other.
Oh yeah,
wow.
it's
I'm sorry I missed it.
Like this entire time from like before.
Yeah, from before,
Dude.
I know.
Don't you remember the time that with the tea at the meeting?
yeah. She told them that there was the tea, and
Come on, man.
I
And then
remember.
they like met up.
I
And,
remember,
like,
Michael.
even last season, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been cheering them on this entire time. I've been shipping the two of them like crazy.
Yes, you have, and I
It's
thought
a
it was
Kelpian
perfection.
and a She's Vulcan, right? Or is she
Yeah,
Romulan?
and I want them to get together. I want to know how on earth they're gonna have children.
Well, now I do.
Yeah, that would be an interesting hybrid, I think, with the hooves and the feet trying to come together. But anyway, so we get the mission. We get the scene that comes here within the bridge where Michael Burnham comes in and says, "Hey, crew, we're going after Book, whatever it takes." And guess who's home? Commander Nan. And everyone's like, "Oh, fancy meeting you here." And they're all just, it's like one of their own is back, because I think they all, they obviously have this special connection that they're all from 900 years ago, and so people have kind of come and gone, and I would imagine there's new crewmen who have joined Discovery who aren't all from this century. She's here to sort of make sure I follow through on the mission, because I'm too close to it. And even Saru was said to be too close to it, because normally like the first officer would be able to sort of do this role and make sure that the captain, if they had a personal connection, would follow through. But because they all kind of the whole bridge crew, the entire ship also has a thing with Book, because they've been through some stuff together. Book is kind of part of the family in a lot of their minds. We even see a lot of squabbling here between the commanders. In this episode, we had was it Commander Reese and Commander Bryce.
Yeah.
We're I can't remember which one was on which
Best
side.
friends were having an argument.
They're besties.
But on Starfleet, like on while I'm duty, I mean, they can do that, in the gym or at dinner. But
A couple times they kind of I don't know. Like I think they should have considered. Were they ready to be lieutenant commanders with that
They didn't-
maturity level?
exactly, they didn't act like lieutenant commanders.
I think they might be lieutenants, even junior grade lieutenants. With that kind of those antics.
I'm ready to be a lieutenant commander.
Yeah, I think
you
like
are.
demote Michael and demote Bryce and Reese, down until they learn how to squabble while they're going on this very intense mission. But they were going at it a couple times, and Culber and Saru in a few cases have to come on guys, pull it together here. But we don't have time.
For me, I agree that it was a little out of line, but also it was interesting because knowing from the last few seasons that these two are indeed really close and they're supposed to be like besties, for them to have such a fundamental disagreement over what to do, I think really rocked their friendship. So that's why they couldn't help but fight, because of how close they are. I kind of understood it. It is out of line, definitely out of line. But I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to continue to build on the characters that they have kind of ignored for like 2.5 seasons, right?
Mm-hmm. It was fun. I was good with it. Like I thought that it reminded. I think when it came up twice, I was like, maybe that was too much. But I think that it reminded me of like almost the debate over the Maquis back in the next gen era. How it could be a bit of a polarizing issue in this fictional futuristic universe, and how they were kind of really kind of at odds on it. But yes. So I just want to digress here, and while we have the shot up here on the video of the shuttle that they went on to, because it was really cool. They cloaked, and then they did the black alert, and they jumped in, and then they found Book because they had the tracer on him, and then so Saru is going to take the cloaked shuttle here, and I was like, this is kind of a neat shuttle. It's got a captain's chair in the middle, a little bit different. I don't think we've seen this set before, or like at least not this exact configuration.
There's a lot of
It's
consoles.
definitely very different from the one that Tilly had when she was with the the cadets.
For sure. This looks like it needs a lot more people to do stuff.
It's huge.
It's a big
Compared
to
all
shuttle,
the
right?
shuttles that we're used to from the past.
Right, but I mean, look at all the console. Like, there's a lot of.
Looks like you could have like 20 people working
Exactly.
consoles, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So this is a bigger shuttle than we're used to seeing, but that's okay. I thought it was neat to kind of see Saru in command of this mission and presented in this way here. So that that was fun, but it quickly goes bad here for Saru and this team because Tarka installed some like technology into the Book ship without even telling Book, like some kind of like security alarm in case something like this happened where they were trying to like take them down,
Yeah, and I think that Book is also starting to understand that he really can't trust Tarka as well. Like, he's doing stuff to his ship now, and he's not talking to him about it.
I think this episode did a good job of creating a good divide, like a rift between these two.
Well, I think Book's starting to like, come to his senses to a degree, or he's starting to like, more time has gone by. He's starting to get more information. He's starting to process it differently. And Tarka, for him, it's no different, right? Like, he's still on the same mission, but it is changing for Book, even though he's gone so far, and I don't know if a few times here he doesn't know if he can walk it back, but he ultimately does decide to, and he realizes, I can't really work with Tarka, but he doesn't really do enough. He's kind of like, I don't know. I think he's torn about this because I think he does have some sympathy for what Tarka is trying to do in his particular side of things, and they have this partnership here. But it's
I do feel Tarka is more self-serving than Book in terms of their individual missions, which is why I think we're seeing this divide. And Book's a good guy, so he's gonna be conflicted over whether to continue this, especially considering Tarka is so like hyper focused on this.
Well, Tarka doesn't have any emotional connection to anybody either.
Yeah, so he doesn't care.
Only Vance, and he's not on this mission.
I don't even think he has an emotional connection to Vance, honestly.
Well, all we know is that he's Vance's guy, and Vance gave him sort of free reign and trusts him and says he's like, really, we only see Vance talking about Tarka third hand, never in the same room. And he was just like, Tarka's the greatest. If anybody can do it, it's Tarka, and then he's like, and even last episode, I think he was saying like, I still think Tarka is the guy who can help us solve things. I didn't see this coming, but I still believe in him. Right. So I was like, with all of that, I was like, there's got to be something between these two that is meaningful, I think, on some level, and so that's why I was like, I think that was the thing they didn't really think through. How are they going to talk Tarka down? They just assumed if they could convince Book not to do this, that was going to be enough because it's Book's ship. But I think that everyone underestimates Tarka in this episode. And I think that's just like the naive part of it. I'm just like, I think, okay, at least try to learn something from this, if anything. Anyway, moving on.
I think he the guy's brilliant too. Like, clearly he can do a heck of a lot, and even manipulate Book ship under his nose, essentially. So,
right,
like, he's dangerous.
He's very well. We see this, right? Because like Book a few times, he's like, he's not out to kill anybody, right? He tries to help this, even though the shuttle is trying to like infiltrate his ship and is trying to get in. He's like, hey, like, what are you doing? And he's upset with Tarka, and he even warns the ship, like Discovery, like, hey, you got to get these guys out of here. And they barely do. They barely do just get, like, they beam out with their lives right before the ship like comes through. I like this, how they were just like dropped right on the deck of the bridge in an instant. I think there's a couple times I was like, you should just tie him up, Book, if you because you kind of have the weapon at this point. We see Tarka made it earlier, and all really has to do is launch it. He doesn't really need Tarka for anything else other than, I guess, helping him try to succeed in this mission. I guess I'm thinking ahead because I'm thinking about where it's going to go. But anyway, after this whole thing, Non says, okay, hey, we need to talk separately, Captain Burnham, and Saru, you come too. We're going to need to have a conference. She says, listen, we got like a secret weapon that can like destroy their prototype spore drive in an instant. It's like a Death Star failsafe. All you have to do is launch it and take them down. And she's like, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to kill everybody and kill Book in this thing. She's like, it's a last resort, but you got to be prepared to use it, right? And she talks about some mission she had been on at some other point, where she hesitated to act and people died, and she wasn't going to let that happen again. So what do you guys think of this, Adam?
This is where I thought she was going to take control, and I was expecting more of a conflict situation out of this, and clearly Saru stepped up and did the Mike Dr. Culper thing when he just sort of mediated between the two of them. So I was surprised a little bit here because again, I went duty before anything, and she is now showing she's compromised a little bit in my opinion.
You mean Michael?
Not Michael, Non.
Oh, Non's a little bit like she's got her own like issues and demons that she's chasing. You mean?
Yeah,
yeah. Michael, you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Vance wouldn't have known that she had those types of feelings in regards to her previous mission where people died, right?
Well, it would be in her Starfleet file.
No, it would be in a file, but I don't know. I didn't think he would think it would become an issue for this particular mission, but I just liked how Saru stepped up and found a middle ground. I like that.
Saru was like, "Hey," because Michael and not necessarily seen eye to eye on everything. Saru says, "We just got to find some common ground here." That's kind of like the whole crux of the episode. Like, how do we find common ground? How do we bridge the divide?
In times of division, we identify that upon which we can agree.
It's like the episode that, getting back to the name of it is like Caesar crossed the Rubicon. Well, nobody's crossing the Rubicon here. They're all making friends. They're not making a statement. They're just aside from Tarka, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, it ended crossing the Rubicon.
Well, yeah, and then
they did all this work not to, and only to end up crossing it anyway.
Right back where they started.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say is that I thought this scene would be the turning point in the episode where Non did take control of the ship, but she didn't.
Which they all know that like she's kind of here to be sort of the failsafe, right? Like if Michael can't get it done, then Non's here to sort of see it through. But on the other hand, she's Michael's like, I got to find another way. I got to try to keep trying into the last second. And she's got Stamets down in engineering, working on something, crunching the numbers.
We're working as fast as we can. We're crunching gigaquads of raw data.
Can you crunch faster?
Can you crunch faster? Crunch some numbers, Stamets, and figure out how to save Book. Is the whole point here? We got to find the middle ground. Only and I did like the whole thing. Like she's like, you need to do it faster, or is it?
Is there an acceptable answer other than yes?
No.
Then yes.
I am going to use that at work now. That is a fantastic line.
Is there an acceptable answer other than yes? No. That was a good thing. Yeah, and so like Stamets is working away. Book is getting ready to launch the weapon, and they need to find a way to stop it. And then this is kind of where like he does a couple things to try to get away, to try to like they kind of have this whole cat and mouse game that keeps going on here within the action, which I thought was a lot of fun. And just like the whole thing, because Book and Michael had spent that whole year together as the couriers, that they can, she's like, well, we did this move when we were in Breen space, and we went under the shockwave, and this is how I'll get around it. And they're almost having fun here with each other as they're playing like this kind of space battle. Inside of like this really cool construct, which we didn't talk about, which was like sort of like this devoid planet that was all broken into many pieces. It was clearly like an interesting backdrop for this whole like episode. Really, it wasn't just like they were in the in black space. There was all this sort of other debris and energy coming around. And it also made like gave them this convenience of like the cloaks don't quite work here, and it's hard to find things. Scanners have very limited range, so you're not exactly working on all thrusters, if you know what I mean. Anyway, but what eventually this turns into a fight, and Non's like, that's an act of aggression.
That was an act of aggression.
The fight breaks out.
We can argue semantics all we want, but I think we can both agree that Book is shooting at us.
Yeah, and she's right.
She's right.
And that, again, there's another turning point I thought would happen, but she didn't do it again. Didn't take control.
Well, yeah, I think there's just a lot of debate about like what's crossing the line, and Book has crossed the line so many times, even though he's not as ruthless as Tarka, or he's not sort of like.
It doesn't matter. Like Tarka's got control now. Like,
yeah,
that's whether Book is pressing the button or not. It's still his ship, and Tarka's now in control.
Yeah, he's completely responsible, and even when they Tarka just says enough already, and he hits the button and like he spreads those quantum torpedoes at Discovery, and Book's like, no, that's too far. And even Michael's like, no, that wasn't Book. I'm sure that was Tarka who shot the quantum torpedoes at us, right?
Yeah, but then the next question is, well, how do we know the Book is even not incapacitated, right?
They don't. Really,
yeah.
They don't know who they're dealing with, or who else might even be on the ship, for that matter. We know the cat's not there. The cat is on Discovery, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't once reference that cat. Now that we bring it up,
maybe Michael just needs to bring the cat forward, and things will be better.
Maybe that's how you heal things. But Michael Burnham, she is determined to find another way,
and we can find another way. We already have another way.
Which is Non's point, Commander Non. She's like, we have a way. We can end this anytime we need. We have like this sort of like special weapon that would take out Book's ship instantly. No, we don't want to kill him, but he's giving us no choice. That's kind of often where everything's been going in the since he went rogue here. They're like that. You're leaving us no choice. We don't want to have to arrest you or stop you or even blow you up, but we will if we have to, because there's just too much at stake. And he just won't listen over and over. He has many chances. Like, it's not like he's just in the heat of the moment. There's been many moments here, right? But ultimately, he does stand down here at the end of the episode. And I understand why Tarka doesn't want to. After everything they've been through, he's like, really, this is the point we're going to say no? I think we've kind of committed here. I think his point of no return was long in the rear view mirror.
It was 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, easily, or 10 years ago, even for that matter.
Yeah.
So Burnham believes in him.
I believe in Book.
On the other side, Book is he's willing to start like listening, but he's Tarka. He's kind of saying like, Tarka, you're I'm not going to be letting you run the ship anymore.
You lost voting rights when you fired those torpedoes.
But Michael gets into a shuttle, goes over there. She's like, I'm gonna go face to face with his view screen. I'm gonna plead with him. I'm gonna hold up the jukebox, right, above my head until he listens to me. Right, is kind of what the Michael Burnham move here, which I thought was kind of like a good move. I thought it was just like very her. She has this sort of whole. Like plead with Non, right before that. But like, I thought like the visuals of this were very, very cool. I'm just pulling up the perfect shot here.
Yeah, this was
really
a great
cool
scene.
Yeah.
Great colors. Looked amazing. They're having a conversation face to face, not hologram to hologram.
Right. I thought there was something just about how this was shot and sort of how they brought this together and how like and how the both actors really played the scene. I thought that because they keep saying they love each other, they and they want to be on the same side of this whole issue, but they can't seem to find common ground. How are we going to find common ground? And there's sort of this plea, and I think this episode is about an allegory just of society in general today, how we can get so polarized on one issue or another, and we can't seem to sympathize with the other side. And so I think that's the big thing that they're trying to present here, is that you have to try to find that peace. And I think that like they should kind of know that, because this is the 31st century and they've had to do that with countless species over millennia. But it's still the same old lesson. You need to do whatever you can to bridge that divide, right? Until then, you can never truly have peace. And ultimately, Book agree. She just like, I won't even throw you. I won't even. This is another great shot too. I won't even throw you into the brig. You can just hang out on my ship for a week. Guess that Stamets figured out. He did all the math with the computer.
You got nothing to lose, and this is where Tarka starts panicking a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tarka's kind of like, what are you doing? Why are we talking to her?
Yeah. He wants this done, and that's
Yeah, so he can go home to another universe that he doesn't even. Why does he doesn't even know that's his home? You can't be like. I guess that's where he wants to find that person, but like, I'm just confused. But like, Tarka's starting to lose me, with his whole thing, and he just kind of ends up like, even when Book agrees here, he just like no, and he just hits the button. I don't know why Book couldn't see this coming. After he fired the torpedoes, after he did a lot of different things, sort of impulsively. Oh yeah, he installed that security system that nearly killed Saru and the away team. There's a few times that he gave him every indication. I thought that he was capable of doing.
Honestly, in my opinion, the biggest fault of this particular episode was that Tarka was obviously already undermining everything that the Book ever does, right? Like we were talking about from the start, with like putting a security system under his nose on his ship, firing quantum torpedoes, and all this work this episode did to bridge the gap between their differing opinions ended up with Tarka firing the thing and blowing up the DMA's source anyways.
And then ultimately the DMA just comes back, Michael, in this episode.
It does.
Right?
But I'm just pointing out that at the end of the day, it blew up anyways.
So Tarka, he goes for it. He says, "To hell with all of you," because he asked this really interesting question, Adam, here, where he talks about this the concept of expected utility.
Are you familiar with the concept expected utility? Of course, one needs to be clear-headed to make the right move.
Right. So this is the theory of expected utility.
It's a core tenet of game theory. A mathematical method to help determine the optimal move in a situation where risk is high and the outcome is unclear. Such analysis can lead to unexpected solutions.
I don't know what he's saying.
So what he's saying, in my mind, is he's talking about removing any emotional influence on your decision making. You're going mathematical, you're going science, that's fact based, right? Nothing else matters. But again, it just shows that he has no connection to any of these people. He just wants the job done.
But he's not impartial. He's completely driven by emotion, right?
Yep.
So he's criticizing Book for like, it's just because the power of love. That's why you're agreeing to Michael Burnham.
He's also being driven by the power of love to go to the other universe.
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't see his own hypocrisy.
I think that's what we have to take away from this, though.
He's supposed to be the super smart guy.
So what? Like, even super smart people can be really far gone.
Well, this guy's far gone. Yeah,
he's just definitely far gone.
Because like he was like, I'm going to destroy this DMA, but I got to get the power source so I can power my trans-dimensional portal so I can go find my friend. But ultimately he finds out that that's not it's gone. It went to the other side of the wormhole, so it's in this other galaxy wherever this wherever the DMA is from, wherever this species 10C is from, that's where it went. So he can't even get what he wants. So this is all for naught. Like he's kind of where does Tarka go from here? What would you think, Adam?
I think he's got to regroup and figure out what's next, because this guy is single mind driven. Like he has a goal and he wants to get there, but how does he do it now? And this is the question. Like he's this is basically being a 3-episode storyline here, right? Or 4 maybe.
Yeah.
And
he's been here since like maybe the third episode. You know, we're into
but I don't think we really knew his motives until.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we did right off the bat, but regardless, what's he? I don't know what he's going to do now. This is interesting. Now it's getting interesting again.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. Michael might know the answer, so I won't ask him. But I don't know what to expect from him, and I guess that's the because I really do like this character. I think I just don't agree with what he's doing. You know, I guess I don't agree with his acts, but I like this actor. I like what he's brought to the show.
So as a performance, he's done well. This particular episode, of all the episodes up to now, I felt I had a slight problem at the end because they had always completely been blind to Tarka for some odd reason. They focused everything on Book.
Do you think that also, I mean, Michael being Michael, and now they're making first contact, you know, one of her goals could be to get Tarka to where he needs to be, you know, in this discussion with whatever happens in the next few episodes. I just think that she is the ultimate compassionate captain who will do whatever she needs to do for everybody to be happy, it seems.
Yeah, I think that Michael Burnham leads with her heart more than any other captain going, really.
I agree with that.
You know, that's for somebody from a character who starts off being raised on Vulcan by Sarek, who is completely devoid of emotion. You know, when she first comes to the Shenzhou, she's completely like in the Vulcan discipline, you know, and we see like 8 years later that she's still kind of like that, but you know, she's a bit. Oh, bring Mike back in here. You're right there, Michael.
Oh yeah, my camera. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, but like how far Michael Burnham has come from being almost basically Vulcan to now being almost the most feelingless Starfleet officer ever, you know, mixed maybe with rivaling like Deanna Troi and, you know, some pretty emotional people, other characters, I would say.
Yeah. It comes back to the, you know, can you make the hard decisions, Captain? You know, I don't know if she can. She finds a way, though. I guess it's the way she finds a different way every time. You know, different solutions. So that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, she's got her own style, her own unique approach, I would say, compared to the others. While she has elements of other captains, I would say she stands apart in a lot of respects, I think, you know, and often because of how she's just often usually very close to the mission, right? It's, you know, it's rare that she's not. There's some kind of thing driving her. Like in the first season, it's the Klingon War because of how her parents were killed by Klingons and all of this like sort of knowledge she has because Sarek tells her about the Vulcan Hello. And then in season 2, it's like it becomes the Red Angel, and that becomes her mother, and there's all this connection to that. And then in season 3, it's kind of about the burn and her, like, I guess,
and Michael and Book.
And Book, and Book, and like, and so, and then now it's Book, right? So she's rarely dealing with something where she's not like very close to it, right?
Well, we have a slight several month time jump between the last season and this season, right? So we didn't get to see whatever missions her ship went on in that.
Oh yeah, I know she's done other things in life that aren't related to those things, but that's not what
I'm just saying from our as the audience, we have to remember that this situation is the focus of the arc right now, which is why she is going to be close to everything, right?
Right. She always is, you know, and I think for better or worse, that's just how Discovery and Michael Burnham are presented, you know, and so that's you know, you just. I dig it. Michael Burnham is the captain of the show, you know, although like she really does. It's kind of a 1 and a 1A with her and Saru. They're almost like they are co-captains in many respects.
They are. I think if anything, this episode truly shows and makes it solid that she needs him. She absolutely needs him to function as a captain, at least for now.
Well, I'm glad that they've come a long way with those two in particular, because they start off as such like a rivalry and like such squabblers, and now that they have each other's back fully, and so it's nice, but it's you know, one day I want to go back to like season 1 and talk about some of those early episodes, because I think it's good to talk about it after these seasons. I think it's gonna be these characters are gonna be so unrecognizable, how far they've come in like these 5 years since they started, since the show premiered, right?
Remember, Saru was afraid all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
Yes, I sense
show
the
has
coming
come
death.
Such a long way that even I ended up in it somehow.
It's come a long way.
What year did it start?
2017,
Huh.
I think. Yeah, and so just to wrap up the episode, there's a conversation here at the end with Non and Burnham after this whole thing where they're just, she talks about her experiences at Barzan, what happened. She tried to track down her like descendants, her family in this village, and she didn't really get into it too much. And she talks about wanting to one day come back to Discovery, and Burnham's like, come back anytime you want. You always got a home here. So I think we'll see more of Commander Non, but I guess they were just kind of wrapping up her drop in, her appearance here.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the scene at the end here with Culber and Saru, where Saru goes to talk to Culber about relationship advice.
She asked me to join her for dinner.
Culber says, do you love her? Are you into her? And he's like, well, it doesn't really matter. I got responsibilities at Kaminar. I'm a Starfleet captain. What am I supposed to do? He's like, come on.
In my professional opinion, you're being an idiot.
I love it.
I love this scene. I love this scene. I absolutely loved it.
Great scene with these two. I thought that, they always have good interactions. And I think like the more that this crew, the more we see the inner workings of their characters, the better, right? Because like, it's not all just plot. It's got, I think Star Trek always has to be a character driven show.
You know what else? It really comes back to how doctors can talk to captains. There's that little bit more familiarity, and they can be completely blunt with them. And starting from original series on, it's
right. Yeah, they're a little less out. They're more outside the chain of command than most other of the crew, right? Like they have a certain discretion, especially if you're talking about your mental health or how you're approaching certain things. They can say, "Hey, you're medically speaking, idiot." But great scene. He's like, "Go for it. You got to go after Tarina, man. I'm all for it." And Saru kind of seems to say, "Yeah, I think you're right, Culber. I'm going to go for it." And then the cliffhanger, as we've talked about a few times here, the DMA is back. It just came right back where it was, and so this was all for naught. If anything, they made destroying it the first time made it worse, because now the aliens are onto it. The element of surprise has been ruined, and so the first contact may now be compromised, right? Because there's an act of aggression, perhaps it will be perceived as being sort of the first strike from this side of the conflict, right? So I don't know. Here's what I'm really wondering. Are we going to get where is season 3 or season 4 rather? Where is season 4 going to end on this? Are we going to get this answer this season, or is this going to continue into next season potentially? I can't hear you, Adam. You've muted yourself. No, you remuted yourself. There you go.
I'm almost afraid to answer because I think Michael knows, but here's my thought is that I don't think this season is going to end with a solution to this. I think it's going to be a big climax at the end where there's like, a peril for everybody again, and some kind of solution has to have like a best of both worlds kind of ending. Like got to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Species 10C. Will we find out who Species 10C is this season? I hope not, actually. I would rather not know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that because I think some of the earlier seasons, like we have to wrap up the Red Angel thing in season 2. We have to wrap up this burn in season 3 and move past it, right? Like, yada, yada, yada. And so it's okay. If you want this DMA and the threat to, I guess, be memorable, especially in the modern storytelling, I think you need to sort of have it be more coming even for 2 seasons.
I'm completely ready for a major climax to not be solved. That'd be great.
What do you think, Michael?
Oh dear.
He's like, well, maybe, who knows? Who's to say? Yeah. Well,
Thank you for that unexpected candor.
Yeah, that was very. That was.
Are you out of your Vulcan mind? Come on.
yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, so let's move on to our ratings for this episode. Rubicon, season 4, episode 9. Get the ratings on. I liked this episode. I thought it was it's a chapter in a story, so it's hard to like look at it as like a great episode, but it's at least an 8.3 for me.
My first time giving an 8.5.
8.5 from Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam?
I'm going to stick pretty high, 8.5 as well. It was missing one big thing for me. Lieutenant Michael Chan.
Aww.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't. Like points are deducted immediately without the presence of him. You hear that? If you want the podcast ratings to go up, you need to more Michael Chan in there. I just wanted to quickly check how this episode is rating on IMDb at the moment.
Oh no,
it's at a 5.0 with 101 votes.
Who votes for these things? I gotta get on there.
They freaking review bomb the hell out of this show all the time.
Come on, if we went on there, that would be 3 votes. Like that would have to bring up the average if there's only 100 votes so far on IMDb as of today. So somebody's got their hate on for this show, and they
there are a lot of people who hate on the show, and a lot of what they say is I don't understand. It's like they're watching something completely different.
Yeah. Ashley couldn't be with us tonight, so we'll have to get her rating at a later date.
Exactly.
The director of this episode was Andy Armaganian. I don't remember seeing this name ever before in the don't see it. So, and then Alan McElroy directed this episode. But I think we can mention that this was like kind of a Commander Non sort of guest appearance.
Yeah. I really enjoyed seeing her again. Like I missed her.
I agree.
I was like, keep this character around. She's a good addition. Also tonight there was a mention of Reno, of Jet Reno. You know, she tells like you need to put her on that. So we know she's always on the ship, but we just don't get to see her all the time. I guess it's kind of like when Guinan was on Next Generation. She was always on the ship and she's always at running 10 forward. But Guinan was only Whoopi Goldberg was only in like 20 something episodes of Next Generation. It's not a very high number, but it seems like she was always there, right? Anyway, so the average tonight 8.4 from our 3 votes. So and then episode 10 coming up. So how many episodes more do we have this season?
3.
It goes up to 13, no?
Yeah.
Goes up so 4. We technically have 4 more.
Yeah.
The last episode is going to be on March 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day. So I guess there's going to be overlap here with Star Trek Picard then and Star Trek Discovery.
Good.
All right.
You never get too much Star Trek. Come on.
You can never get too much. All right. Well, I think that's it for our review of this episode tonight. I thought it was, I want to see next week. I think like the week to week is hard sometimes, and I feel like this is one of the times I just want the next episode.
It's so great like, to go. It feels like back, in the day where we actually had to wait. This is.
Well, yeah. This is like compared to shows like Ozark and other things, like I guess that in the streaming era, it is a completely different experience, and then many people just wait to binge it, at a later time, right? So
that's probably true, but what you lose in binging is a little bit of anticipation and the pause between episodes to think more about it.
True,
and sometimes that's a good thing. I don't miss the commercials, let me tell you that, but I do like this pace.
Yeah.
What's interesting for me? I now no longer hate commercials only because I know so many people in them. That for me, it's like an experience just to
those are my friends. It's like
and take screenshots and stuff for them. I used to hate commercials, but now I'm just like, oh my god, it's So it's different for me.
Yeah, I fair enough. And sometimes I see you in those commercials, Michael.
That is true.
I don't even have live TV, so I don't. Sorry.
That's what I mean. You might see me on YouTube. Like
I will look for you.
Just skip you skip my ad though.
Don't worry, I'll keep a watch out. I'll let people know where there's been a Michael sighting in the media. So don't worry, Adam. Okay, so I think that's it for. We'll be back next Thursday to talk about the next episode 10, titled to be announced at a later time. Also, you should check out our other podcasts here on Live Long and Podcast. We're talking about Star Trek all the time, new and old. So, in addition to Star Trek Discovery this year, we've already talked about Star Trek Prodigy. I was talking about that with Jessica Chan and Davin Skellhorn in 2022 and in 2021. The first season debuted. We've done 10 episodes so far. There's more to come this season. Sometime later the year, we'll be talking about that. But if you'd like to hear our take on Star Trek Prodigy, check out that on our YouTube or Facebook channel. Also, we've talked about Lower Decks. We've talked about all the movies. We did a Star Trek the Original Series rewatch. We watched all those episodes. Adam did, and I, and Jody Simpson, and my dad. So if you want to know about those, check those out. Similarly, we're continuing to do one for Star Trek Enterprise. Just started that every Monday night. We talk about the next episode. Adam Woodward, I, and Jody Simpson. Going where my heart will take me. Scott Bakula led Star Trek Enterprise. Check that out. We'll be talking about the next episode of season 1. We just talked about Silent Enemy this past week, which was really interesting.
The captain that can never look at the screen.
Yeah. Scott Bakula, okay, like Michael Burnham, a pro compared to him at being a captain. It's not even in the same league.
She'll take a ship up to the window so she can look at somebody.
Yeah, I know. He will. He's like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm on Star Trek. It's so crazy. That's Scott Bakula. Anyway, on Tuesday nights, we're talking about Star Trek Deep Space Nine. We've been watching every episode of that and then doing the podcast. We've been doing that for 2 years now. I started that with my brother Jeff way back then, and it's continuing. We're now into season 5. The Dominion War is heating up, and things are getting crazy. So if you want to hear our takes every Tuesday night at 9ish, on there with Jaemeel Robinson, Jeff Mader, we got the Ashley and Kevin Millard, and Davin Skellhorn often joining us as well. From Locutors of Trek. And on that note, coming up this Saturday, our next edition of Star Trek Radio Theater, where we do like a script table read, basically, of a Star Trek episode, and then create it into a little bit of an audio drama. We're going to be doing Looking for Parmok in All the Wrong Places from Deep Space Nine's 5th season. We actually just talked about this on our Deep Space Nine podcast not that long ago. Kind of a Valentine's Day theme here. Michael Chan, Discovery Zone, Michael Chan, going to be playing Keiko O'Brien, along with Thopak, the angry Klingon, Captain Sisko, and Odo.
Yeah, so it's your chance to listen to an actual Star Trek cast member play other cast members.
Yeah, exactly. And 4 of them in this case.
Four. Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah, your wife Jessica playing Kira Nerys. We got Mott playing O'Brien. My cousin Davin going to be playing Dr. Julian Bashir and Tarek. I'll be Worf. My wife Jane is going to be Jedzia Dax, and Kevin's going to be Quark, and Ashley's going to be Grilka. Nice. So this is going to be a great episode to do. Really excited about it. This will be our season 3 of Radio Theater premiere. And also we're going to be doing the episode 2 of Radio Theater. We're going to be doing with Steve Shives, who's got his own YouTube channel. He talks about Star Trek all the time. We did an episode last season on Radio Theater with him. And he's coming back to do the episode Hiding Q, where Jody Simpson's going to be playing Q. And Steve Shives is going to be playing Riker. So that's going to be a lot of that's going to be really exciting. We're going to be doing that around March 5th. And what else have I missed? Michael, you have your own podcast. You do with
the Hellbound podcast that I co-host with Alex Blackburn from the UK. We talk about all things horror every single week, and we release one episode a week on Wednesdays. We have like the main portion, which is like just us talking about different things, but we also have a dramatized intro at the beginning of every episode that I write. So
very cool.
And it's all performed by Alex, myself, Jessica, and we have guest voices as well.
Oh, well, let me know if you ever need a guest voice. I can be scary.
All right.
All right.
Hey,
That's
Dave,
cool.
I'm joining Davin's debates podcast on Sunday night as well. So,
You're gonna be on
Ooh.
Locutors of Trek.
yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, you're gonna be on Debate 9. I've been on that before, where you debate
Go
like
kick
so.
their
That's like,
butts.
yeah, I like how he's like champion of multiple trivial debates. Adam Woodward coming in for Debate 9. I was like, that's a great plug, guy. Davin knows how to do the marketing. I gotta say, we got Trivial Debates, our other channel where we argue about movies, TV, sports, and more. As mentioned, Jeff Mader is set to host the next edition on February 27th with Jody Simpson, Jaemeel Robinson, and Max Duda competing. This would be a fun one. We'll see what the topics are going to be and get those announced. And we also have Super Mader Brothers podcasting, where we talk about shows and movies that aren't related to Star Trek. Right now, Jaemeel Robinson and I are talking about Celebrity Big Brother 3 with Todd Bridges, Willis from Different Strokes. He's on it. We talk when you talk about Willis, we talk about Survivor, we talk about Marvel, we talk about Ozark, we talk about Westworld, we talked about all kinds of things. We're going to be talking about the Batman coming up. We're going to be talking about Doctor Strange soon. So lots of different topics and podcasts over there at Super Mader Brothers Podcasting as well. We talked about Locutors of Trek, and check out Davin's other podcast, X-Men the Animated Series X-Rated, where he goes through and watches all of those episodes in order. And my son Eamon's got a podcast called Let's Talk About Fighting Games, where they talk about fighting games. And that's it, I think, guys. I know that's a lot of podcasts. So many plugs. But I think it was fun crossing the Rubicon with you all. Sorry we couldn't have Ashley here tonight, but hopefully she can make it back for the next one. And I think we need a quote here to take us away. But thank you, Adam. Thank you, Michael. And we'll see you all in a week's time for episode 10. And on that note, I gotta play it again. It's so good.
Is there an acceptable answer other than yes?
No.
Nope.
Then yes.